So at this point, you probably already have seen the brand new Ninjago 2022 set list, but in case you haven't, I will leave the link to the Promobricks article down below. But the thing with this list is that it kind of leaves us with a lot more questions than it does answers. There doesn't seem to be any set based on a new season, and there doesn't really seem to be any legacy sets either. Instead, we have a bunch of sets under this EVO moniker. But, you know, what is EVO? Well, I'm going to try to do my best to explain it here because this is a very weird situation. Earlier this year, LEGO launched an entire campaign online for Ninjago. The campaign featured on this dojo where basically you would go into a few rooms, you would play some mini games, and then, you know, that's basically it. But what was really interesting here is that before every mini game, they would show a comic, and within those comics, you would see the ninja using various vehicles, and these vehicles line up with the sets list. So, for example, we have Jay's Thunder Dragon Evo. Well, that's described to be a small $20 set, and if you look within the game, there we have it. We have a small Lightning Dragon, which, you know, you don't really see anything obviously because it's a pretty vague drawing, but it lines up. So, I mean, you know, one for one, but then you have Kai's Fire Dragon Evo, which is basically described to be the same thing as the Lightning Dragon one, but just slightly bigger. And then you go to the game, and what do you know, there's a Fire Dragon. There also supposed to be a giant dragon for Lloyd in this wave, and there is, I mean, Lloyd has a dragon right here. You also have Zane's Power Mech Evo, which is supposed to be like a super small $10 set. And within this game, we see Zane's Titan Mech, which is kind of interesting because it is quite literally the 2015 Zane Titan Mech. It's like, we're just complete copies, the same thing. This thing is described to be a shrunk down version of Zane's mech, and you know, it's going to be $10. So I don't really know what that entails, but based off what the Promobricks article also says, which is this is supposed to be like the Star Wars wave, which, if you know the Star Wars wave from this past year, there was a lot of original trilogy sets and they were downsized. They were sets they had done previously, but they made them smaller. So if the idea here is that they're taking past designs but making them smaller, more affordable, that makes sense. That also lines up with Lloyd's Evo racing car, which that doesn't appear in this game at all, but what they tell us is that this is actually basically a legacy set. It's supposed to be the 2018 Ninja Nightcrawler, which is insane to me. That 3 years, I mean, I guess it'll be 4, but like that feels like a really short time to already be remaking this set, but that's what they're doing. So that's apparently going to be a 279 part version of the Ninja Nightcrawler, which, you know, that's not in the game. You know, we're getting a little off track here, but there's one other set here which lines up with the game, and that is the Ninja Dojo Temple, and they have a set description, and this is described to be a temple which stands on a rock foundation. It's designed like a pagoda with dark green roofs, and the walls are white with brown decorations. Now, I don't know if you guys have been paying attention, but if you look at this game, at the very, like, at the hub screen, there's a temple right in the middle, which perfectly lines up with this description. There also is supposed to be a smaller training set of a dojo, which kind of lines up with the idea, because it's supposed to connect with the bigger temple set. It kind of lines up with this building on the right, although it probably won't be that, because that feels like it's way too big. But if you go in that building, there's little tiny things which are, they could be side structures for a little small $10 set. Now, obviously, elephant in the room here is that this doesn't explain everything. There is still one more set, which is the Ultra Combination Ninja Mech, which is basically, it's what it sounds like. It's basically, imagine the Ultrasonic Raider but a mech. That's basically how they describe this. So that doesn't appear in this game at all. So, you know, obvious elephant in the room, isn't explaining everything. You can make a legitimate argument that the only set this would be absolutely confirmed just based on this game and nothing else is the temple set. You could argue the dragons could be different. I mean, you don't know for sure. There is still a chance that some of these sets are completely original designs. It doesn't seem likely. It seems that it's more likely they're going with a legacy style approach, but it is possible. There's also a junior set, which I'm not counting because it's a junior set, and then there's also $10 sets, which I'm not counting because they're the gimmick $10 sets that they do in the Winter Wave that are never related to anything. So those sets I'm not really concerned about, but that combination method is interesting that we haven't really seen anything related to that at all. So that might just be something completely random, that just will show up in the show later on. But, you know, we'll have to wait to see on that. But yeah, this is interesting because this does seem to be the direction they're going in. They're going towards the direction of making sets based off a game that honestly nobody's really even heard of. Like, I heard of this game. I had seen it. I never played it. I knew it existed though because it was where the initial drawings of the 2022 minifigures had come from. So I heard of this game that way, but I hadn't played it until just today when someone else kind of made connections. They were saying like, hey, these sets might actually be based off this game, and I was like, that's interesting, let me check it out, see if that's true or not, and it does seem to line up. So that seems to be what they're going with the 2022 sets. There still will be a season 16, geez, 16, man, that's a lot of seasons. There's still going to be 16 and 17, but there won't be any sets based off it until the summer, apparently. But that's going to be it. Thank you guys for watching. Till next time, stay Chip Masters, saying goodbye.